As I was preparing or finishing off my leg day, craziest part about me doing leg day now is the fact that sitting like this for this extended period of time actually feels better than it used to feel worse. As I'm sitting there doing my leg day, I'm in there on the squat rack, sitting on the squat, just powering through. I was thinking about nutritional value. I was thinking about I don't know where the food pyramid came in. Dr. Little Africa came through, and I was just discussing, having that conversation with him while we sitting there doing I'm doing my workout. And I was thinking about nutritional value. I was thinking about GMOs. And then it sparked a thought in my mind about GMOs being that us in an unhealed sense, when we're not going through our healing process, we're not integrating with the shadow, not understanding these aspects. And then it took me into Gnostic teachings, talking about everything down here to be fed upon. And I was thinking about the old identities of myself, and I noticed that I had this realization that my old identities were simply the seasoning to getting into me, my emotional aspects, my emotions, my old nutritional value. So when I thought about my old nutritional value, that pyramid, that 3 meals a day, that the way that we were structured based on survival, those are our old nutritional values. I started thinking about detoxing. And sometimes, I remember when I first started to do detoxes in the beginning, or for some of you in the beginning, when you start doing your detoxes, you always seem to go back to the same, or you revert back to something. It's based on a deeper psychological aspect that we analyze when we do your therapy, that session. But I was thinking about for myself, I was like, as my nutritional values changed, just something in simple context, as my nutritional value changed, my environment changed from where I was receiving my nourishment. Similar to going from Food Lion or Walmart all the way now going to Sprouts on a regular. We got an Apple Crate here on a regular basis. My nutritional, as my value, as I defined my value, as we define our value, we have to look at how we used to feed. We have to look at how we used to feed and how we used to get fed based on our old nutritional values. So that's when I asked that question, are you a GMO? And the answer is yes. Because think about it like this. We are the original. You want to be the original. We are the original. We are the essence of all things. Therefore, everything that is in the mental, that law of mentalism, everything that is above is below. Everything that is within is without. I wanted to throw out a couple of the Hermetic laws to give people that. Then everything in your space is a reflection of you for experience versus observation. Then the GMOs are a reflection of you. You upset, they genetically modifying all the food, and they make genetically modifying all the food, and they killing us. You ain't died yet. You ain't died yet. They messing us up and they making our minds go crazy. They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do anything. You've been the delectable Negro since the beginning. You were the delectable Negro up until that point. Just think about, go get the book, The Delectable Negro, and you think about it. When they fed off of you when you were just coming off the boat, quote unquote. You were just coming off the boat. They were feeding off your ass. Then they started giving you them scraps and kept feeding off your ass. And you still getting scraps, quote unquote, feeding off your ass. But really think about it. Why are they able to continuously feed off me? This is a corporation. When I break down ownership mentality, the first thing that I said in the ownership mentality is not in the aspect of the most physical sense of saying that you got to own a business or you got to own a business. You can have an ownership mentality while you are working. You have an ownership mentality while you're working at your job. The ownership mentality in depth is knowing, in this case, context, your nutritional value. The way that you used to implement yourself in the way that you used to feed and to be fed on changes. The spaces that you used to feed in, the pens that you used to be in, to be fed upon, have changed. That's your nutritional value. Your nutritional value is your emotional clarity. The quality of your emotions versus the quantity of your emotions. The quality of the emotions for somebody in an unhealed state is based on survival. Therefore, you're always angry. So the first thing that you have to adjust in your nutritional value as you're detoxing yourself is, why are you always frustrated? Why are you always angry? Why are you always produced in anger and frustration? And then you'll understand. Then we can go deeper into understanding the same way that they killed the cow or they killed the chicken. They killed the cow, they killed the chicken. Fear and all that aspect is the same way that you get fed on. You're the chicken. Stay off the fucking plate. Even when it comes to the factor of now you want to be plant-based, now you want to eat healthier. And I've talked about it before, like in the aspect of Satan, you saging crystals, all this shit. In that space of you, now you want to eat healthier. Now you went from being a caged chicken, the caged cow, the pig in the pen, because you still skittish. You still skittish. You still grazing on that old, you still ain't grazing on the old energy. You still got a disorganized mindset. So, but now you're just a free range chicken. That means you get to walk around more. You're a free range pig. That means you get to walk around more in the grass and they feeding you more grain. Or you're a free range cow. That means they still assimilating you and still making you produce milk to nurture. You still doing the same thing. Because you're not adjusting your nutritional value, your new nutritional values. Your new nutritional values are going to be how you deal with the emotional clarity, how you bring yourself into emotional clarity, how you allow your boundaries to be fed, how you allow you setting those boundaries. I've seen millions of posts about people being empaths, to all, not some, but you're not an empath and you sensitive and shit and, oh my God, I feel everything, too many feels. You just ain't got no boundaries. You have not learned how to display or learn the new aspects of boundaries. It's okay. It's part of the process. That's the integration aspect. You still want to over here and then come over here and then you're wondering why time never seems to be in your favor. Time don't exist over here. Time don't exist in the integrated aspect. Time doesn't exist in the ownership mentality. Time doesn't exist as the external aspect anymore in the integrated aspects of yourself. You become time. Ownership mentality means you become time. You understand to become accountable and responsible for your own time. You know to be accountable and responsible for your own action. So you're no longer in a state of reaction. Reaction, you're in the state of the past. You're reacting to the emotion still based in that trauma from back then. You still isolated the way you were 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And go all the way back to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Because there's stuff that happens There's things that we don't think about, and I've talked about this in detail in lectures. There's things that you think about there's things that we'll think that the 3-year-old or the 1-year-old or the 2-year-old doesn't remember. They just can't they can't speak it. That doesn't mean it's not imprinted. So things that happened to you when you were 3, there's things that you got to deal with. This is that depth of that inner child healing. Getting into these layers, understanding these aspects. There's things that happened to me that I remember that happened when I was 3. I remember when I was 2 years old and I burned all of my bottles, pacifiers, sippy cups, and I was drinking out of a regular glass when my mom came home from the grocery store. So you cannot tell me that the effects do not happen as soon as you come through. It's all about that depth of the addressing. It's all about looking at the nutritional value. A lot of us get stuck and we get upset that we're being fed on. We get upset that we're being fed on. We get upset that we keep getting the same result, but we don't change or address the nutritional value. We don't address our nutritional value. Your old nutritional value, I remember I made a joke. Somebody said, this is like way back in early when I first went vegan. And then someone said, what's the difference? And I was like, my man like it. I was like, your man used to KFC, so there's no difference. Your man used to KFC, so I mean, of course he gonna eat whatever. Your girl is used to Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Of course she's not really gonna say anything because they don't know the difference. When you come into your healing aspect, you're at a higher quality. Your quality, your value change, your quality changes, your value changes, your openness changes. Everything changes, not just on the surface level, not just on the surface level, not just on the that's not on the microcosm or the macrocosm, which is the skin, but going into the aspects of truly down to that cellular level. This is you becoming the true aspects of you're truly no longer the GMO. You're no longer the genetically modified organism, but you will always remain the genetically modified organism. Because when you start healing and you go back to your more natural state with yourself, the more natural state of abundance with your energy and understanding yourself, you're still going to be a GMO to the old environment because they'll no longer be able to feed on you without getting sick. They're no longer going to be able to feed on you without getting sick. But that's all based in you cultivating yourself. That's all based in you discussing with yourself that nutritional value. That's all in you going through that process of tapping in like, yeah, my old values was based on 3 meals a day. But it also is based, my old value was based, I looked at my old values. My old value system of my life was based on 3 meals a day. So therefore, if I didn't get that first meal, I had something to blame it on, or I didn't eat breakfast. And then if I didn't eat lunch, then okay, cool, I can blame it on I didn't eat lunch. So I can blame my moods because remember, we eat with our emotions. So if you don't eat breakfast, you don't get that rush from the orange juice and whatever you drink during the breakfast time, then you feel in a certain type of way. So now you say, I need my coffee. That's the physical representation. What does the coffee represent to you? What does that represent to you? What does that glass of water represent to you? Just like when we talk about programming your water, when you wake up in the morning and you grab your bottle of water and you speaking that, what are you speaking into the water? The first thing that we assess when we start shifting our values is addressing the unconscious reason why we did the first thing to come into the consciousness of why we're doing this thing. One of the biggest things that I faced was that constant step back motion, that I was always stepping back, trying to shoot my shot based on reaction, because I was always in a state of, I didn't understand that it's not about replacing. It's not about simply take this away, put this in, and then everything works. No, I had to understand why that was originally there. Because if I just take this off, I take away coffee, I just remove the physical manifestation of I don't even like coffee. I like coffee with hot cocoa put together. But that's neither here nor there. But that's everywhere. But you put yourself into this space with your mindset of why are you taking this out of your life? This is why when I give my clients one of the first exercises that I give clients is take 7 days with no phone, 7 days with no cell phone, don't call nobody, don't text nobody, don't hit nobody up. Just see if they hit you first. And this is that this is that process of removing these things to see what your value is without it. That's going to be your key, getting off that plate. That's going to be the key to getting off the plate. Understanding your value without it. There's that heart-wrenching aspect that we go through, like, but why I got to give up all this? How do you know what you are without it? If everything that you have acquired at that point in time in the physical representation of your life is based on you based on the not healed aspect, the old self, then how will you know what you are until you first remove all of these aspects? How will you know what you are until you remove all of these aspects? And then slowly bring them into the space. Like, this is the experimentation process. Let me bring this in. I don't like the way I feel with this is over here, so that's something I can get rid of. And it's the easy stuff that we try to do. It's always the easy things. Just like a little kid. The little kid will always go to the most easy thing. Except for me, I was always going to the most complex thing. But that's why I'm Papa Lucifer. And that's why I'm where I'm at, into that space. This is all about learning yourself. Your nutritional value. You're wondering why you start a process and you can't seem to finish it. It's because it's more than just the surface level. It's more than just not going to eat this, not going to drink that, not going to do this. It's going into the layers. The layers of why you did it based on time and becoming the time, understanding you're filling in gaps in time. You're giving yourself the disclosure of the preservatives. It goes into the aspects of the mindset, the emotional, that cycle, that's the psyche. What was that giving your psyche? What it gave you into that space? It's going deeper into that aspect. This is the depth of getting into your shadow work. After you acknowledge it, you have to work on it. I remember the first time steps in my shadow work where I would acknowledge it. I would do the acknowledgement process, but I didn't do the accepting aspect. I would acknowledge it, but I wouldn't accept it for what it was, because I didn't do the work in between acknowledgement and acceptance to accept what it was for, what it meant. I would get to that point of, okay, cool. I had this here. I acknowledge that I did this when I was angry. But I never got to the acceptance aspect of why was I angry? And when I got to the point, okay, this is why I was angry. But then I never got to the apology aspect of forgiving myself for being angry for what I didn't know then, I know now. This is your process of growth. This is your process of the trigger killers. The triggers are meant to kill the philosophies, all old philosophies of your ego. The triggers are meant to kill all the old philosophies of your ego. The triggers are meant to kill all the old identities. The triggers are meant to make you the most unseasoned human being, the most unseasoned item on the plate. It's meant to make you unseasoned. That way you can come in and adjust your seasonings to you being on your own plate. I season myself to my liking. I'm delicious. I am a delicious amount of energy, and I'm a delicious, intense, hot, spicy form of energy. I define that within myself through everything that I do. That's not based on the old aspects of myself, to where the friendship, and we're going to get deep into this tomorrow night, Friday night lectures, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we're going to get deeper into these aspects of you want this item and everything else is like the side. So when we think about our needs and our wants, we're going to get deep into our needs and wants. Like your job, you don't want your job. You don't want your job. You want the money. True indeed. You want the money. So everything else, the job is the side. You don't want that friendship. You don't want that relationship. The relationship is the main course. The person, the people, the things, they're the sides. We have to adjust the way we feed. And that's what we're going to get into on this Friday. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday Night Lectures. G.O.D Alkhemist YouTube channel. Hit the flow page link in this video at the top, right above, under. Hit the flow page link to join me on TikTok. Join me on, I'm about to say Facebook, but we're already on Facebook. But yeah, join me on Facebook, Instagram, all of my services from guided meditation classes are coming back into rotation soon. The Occult Alchemy Secret Society. Stay tuned for that. That's coming into the work soon. The first working on the Occult Alchemy will be a hard launch when we launch the healing retreat that I'm working on. Got a lot of things working on in that aspect. Occult Alchemy, myshopify.com. Go ahead and get in there now because we're doing a spring cleaning sale. Promo is not available, but I'll drop another promo before I drop the new spring line of new things, staying off the plate. And I want you to be the best, and to become the best, you got to step off the plate. How many plates are in your life that you sit on unknowingly and you allow yourself to be fed on? How many plates do you got laid out that you keep getting fed on, but when it comes time to feeding off your plate, there's nothing there? There's a reason for that, and we're going to get into that on Friday. I want you to be the best. Services, readings, from readings all the way to setting up that consultation, hit me in the inbox or hit the flow page link to get to my site, G.O.D Alkhemist, and be the fucking best. Adjust and assess. It's time to assess the value. Assess yourself based on shifting out the old nutritional values, based on the old system of thought that you did based on trying to survive. You ain't got to survive no more. This your time to heal. I love you. We love us. Ashe.